Unlock the hidden truths of your soul, avoid these 5 spirits for a sacred awakening. I never expected a single dream to change everything. It was just a whisper at first, a flicker of light in the depths of my subconscious. But as I lay there, tangled in my sheets, the weight of it crushed me. In that half-asleep state, I saw faces, ghostly figures weaving in and out of the shadows. I could feel the chill of their presence wrapping around me, clinging like mist on a cold morning. Who were these spirits, and why had they come to haunt my mind? Doubt crept in, threatening my fragile sense of self. I had always been curious, searching for signs everywhere. Nature often spoke to me in vivid colors and rustling leaves, but this felt different. It felt wrong. Each spirit shimmered with energy, tangling my thoughts and sending shivers down my spine. What did they want? Did they come as guides or mischief makers, testing my faith? I decided to meditate, to find solace beneath that veil of mystery. I closed my eyes, and suddenly I was engulfed in light, warmth flooding my senses. Yet, the comfort faded quickly. What felt like safety morphed into a maze of unanswered questions. The sun shone brighter than before, yet shadows lurked behind every corner, teasing me with their secrets. A low, haunting melody echoed in my mind. Was it a warning? The deeper I delved, the louder the silence became. I could sense the shifting of energies, swirling around me like a tempest. The trees outside whispered my name, their leaves rustling with urgency. Each sigh of the wind felt like an invitation or perhaps a plea. It was intoxicating and terrifying. I was standing on the edge of an unseen world, unsteady and unsure. Could I truly be on the brink of a sacred awakening? My heart raced in rhythm with uncertainty, a tight knot forming in my chest. I felt as if I was balancing between 2 realms, one filled with light and hope, the other shrouded in darkness and fear. And then, a sharp gasp broke through my thoughts. Was it my own, or was it the voice of a spirit long gone? I didn't know. All I knew was that I had stumbled upon something powerful, something intoxicatingly forbidden. I stood at the precipice, looking down into the swirling depths of the unknown. A vision flashed in my mind, a figure bathed in silvery light. I couldn't discern its face, but its presence was electric, and it pointed somewhere deeper into the shadows. What was I being led into? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As I stood on that fragile edge between realms, the air around me began to ripple, distorting lines of reality and forming shapes where none had been just moments before. The silvery figure beckoned softly, urging me to move closer to the shadows where the pulse of energy swayed, a heartbeat of another existence. My instincts waged war with one another, the deep-seated fear of the unknown battling against an insatiable curiosity that compelled me forward. That I cautiously took a step, feeling a tremor in the ground beneath me, resonating through the very core of my being. The darkness lured me, the whispers twisted into comprehensible voices. It was no longer confusion but an enticing call. Enter, they said, unravel what needs to be known. As I ventured deeper, the temperature dropped. Each breath became a visible cloud in the dim twilight, swirling and dissipating like fleeting thoughts. Shapes solidified, the spirits from my dreams coalescing around me, their faces flickering in and out of clarity. They were neither sinister nor benevolent, they existed, bathed in shades of gray, full of stories and sighs unuttered that I attempted to communicate. What do you seek? But my voice felt thin, almost translucent, drifting through the murk without an anchor. Then, one spirit stepped forth, its form outlined in an iridescent glow. It stretched its hand toward me, revealing a shimmering object, something crystalline that reflected fragments of my past moments of joy and sorrow, triumphs and failures. The spirit held this artifact with grace, urging me to take it. Hesitantly, I reached out, my fingers tingling as they brushed against its cool surface. Instantly, visions unfurled the faces of those I had lost, echoes of laughter now muted by time, and the warmth of love that had once filled the empty rooms of my heart. The ghostly figure turned its gaze to me, eyes filled with understanding, as if it were urging me to confront my grief to find clarity in the present. In that moment, I was struck by an overwhelming realization. These spirits were not messengers of torment but messengers of wisdom, urging me to sift through my memories. Each reflection held a truth that had been buried beneath the layers of my life choices, swimming in a sea of regret and questioning. I was compelled to dive deeper into myself. "What is it that you wish to teach me?" I whispered, praying the shadows would extend their wisdom. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath me, and the haunting melody I thought had silenced surged back, louder and more resonant. It was as if the spirits were harmonizing, blending their energies into a song of revelation. The melody wove through me, igniting every corner of my soul. Voices in unison, they recited words that echoed mysteries I had disregarded. Awakening is a journey, not a destination. Dive into your shadows, for there lies your greatest truth. As ephemeral as the wind, the spirits began to fade, their essence wrapping around me briefly before melting into the ether. Yet, the crystal remained, heavy in my hand. I could still hear the notes lingering in the air, a tether reminding me that my journey was just beginning. With a newfound resolve, I stumbled back toward the light, clutching the crystalline truth against my heart. Had those spirits truly been guiding me? Or had I simply conjured them through my desperation to understand the complexity of my being? Emerging from the darkness, breathless and full of questions, I gazed at the world outside with different eyes. The trees had ceased their whispers, now standing silent as guardians of my thoughts. Yet, I couldn't shake the lingering question of what lay behind the shadows I had yet to confront. What other secrets do my memories hold? What more must I uncover before I can step into the light? As these uncertainty-laden questions floated through my mind, I found myself more curious than ever, yearning to dive back into the depths to illuminate truths yet unseen. With the sounds of the ethereal song echoing in my bones, I ventured into the day, the sunlight spilling through the treetops and transforming the world into a tapestry of golden hues. Yet, beneath this vibrant surface, a quiet urgency thrummed within me, a beckoning call to explore further, to unearth the vaults of knowledge concealed beneath the layers of my existence. The crystalline object I clutched felt like a key, one that would unlock doors long bolted shut. I walked deeper into the forest, every step pulling me closer to a remote clearing I had ached to find, a place that felt ancient, alive with the residue of forgotten stories and a wisdom that was not merely mine to claim. As I approached, the air grew thick with anticipation, suffused with wisps of fog that danced along the ground like lingering thoughts. I sensed, rather than saw, the presence of old spirits, guardians of this sacred space, draped in patterns of light and shadow. Their energy tingled around me, urging me to pay heed to this threshold I stood before. "Listen," breathed a voice, echoing the wisdom of the shadows I had met before. "Every heart possesses echoes of its ancestors and reflections of its past. In this place, you shall find the fabric of your essence woven into the stories of those who came before you." "Who are you?" I dared to ask, my voice wavering as the familiar tremor of uncertainty flooded my heart. "We are the echoes of birth and rebirth," it responded, the timbre rich with age. "We are reminders of your lineage and the paths walked before you. Yet, you must ask, what do you seek in these echoes?" I inhaled deeply, the scent of earth and old leaves swirling around me, drawing me into a trance-like state. "I seek understanding. I long to comprehend the truths that govern my spirit," I whispered, allowing the sincerity of my longing to spill into the open air. With my declaration, the fog began to swirl more intensely, coiling and unfurling like tendrils of memory. Shapes emerged, a series of images played out before me, ancestors with fierce gazes, hands stained with earth, their stories etched into the very fabric of my own identity. Yet, darker shades punctuated their volatile narrative, struggles and pains, moments of despair that echoed through generations. As I absorbed these fractured reflections, questions flared up within me like wildflowers bursting through the cracked earth. had their failures been passed down to me? Were their dreams entwined with my aspirations? A deep longing stirred in my chest, clamoring for the renewed energy of those who had dared to manifest their essence. Embrace the shadow, whispered the presence. For within it lies power and potential, humility and strength birthed from struggle. Your path becomes clearer when you acknowledge the darkness, not as a villain, but as a teacher, and there it was again, that resonant melody, the harmony of countless lives blending into one. Each note pulsated with the wisdom of facing one's fears, of honoring those whose shoulders I stood upon. In the depths of my soul, I felt the truth begin to shift. The desire to confront the shadows of the past now simmered with a newfound strength. As the images faded, new questions emerged, more profound than before. Was it my obligation to rewrite the stories or to honor them as they were? How could the scars of my ancestors transform into the wisdom I could carry forward? With those ponderings dancing in my mind, I staggered back, aware now that this journey would not yield simple answers. It was a profound tapestry woven from the essence of every encounter, a challenge for me to embrace not only the beauty of my heritage but the shadows that lurked within it. Emerging from the clearing, I felt the cold breeze cradle me, offering both comfort and challenge. My heart pulsated with the weight of undulating questions. What pieces of my past do I need to heal? How can I cultivate strength from the shadows of those who paved my way? As I walked away, a lingering resolve nestled in my spirit, but so did an insatiable curiosity about the layers still concealing their truths. Would I uncover the ultimate lesson hidden within? Or would the quest for understanding lead me further into the depths of my soul? The fog of inquiry clung to me, beckoning me deeper still. I drifted through the forest, my senses heightened, welcomed by the rustling leaves and chirping of distant birds that sounded like echoes of hidden messages. The crystalline object in my palm pulsated, warm against my skin, guiding me like a lodestar. Every heartbeat, every step taken, felt definitive, a call toward understanding. Yet, uncertainty loomed like shadows between the branches. As twilight approached, the sun cast elongated shadows that flickered like memories through my mind. Suddenly, a whisper of movement caught my attention. A figure perched on a moss-covered stone. It was an elderly woman, her silver hair flowing like the river nearby, eyes twinkling with a depth of knowing that seemed as ancient as the land itself. Child of the ancestors, she spoke, her voice a soft melody that resonated with the pulse of the earth. You seek truth, yet truth is not merely found, it is forged through the fires of experience. Who are you? I found myself asking again, drawn into her captivating presence. I am the keeper of stories, the guardian of this realm, she replied, her smile disarming and warm. Many come seeking answers, yet answers often conceal deeper questions. What is it that burns in your heart? I hesitated, sorting through the tangled threads of my thoughts. I wish to confront the shadows and embrace them. I seek wisdom from my ancestors, I want to understand how their struggles shape my essence. The woman nodded, her gaze penetrating. To understand is to dance with the unknown. You must not only seek the light but also befriend the dark. Come, let us walk together. Intrigued, I followed her deeper into the thicket, where the trees seemed to lean closer, as if eavesdropping on our exchange. As we walked, she began to tell tales of the ancients, weaving in and out of time of triumphs that brought forth joy, and tribulations that birthed resilience. Each story unfolded like a scroll, painted with emotion and embedded in the very essence of nature. She spoke of a warrior who fought for justice yet bore the scars of a lost family. The warrior's heartache transformed into a dedication that rippled through the generations, encouraging others to withstand adversity. From shadows, light emerges, she noted, her voice echoing with the wisdom of time. Upon hearing these stories, I looked inward, reflecting on my own lineage, and wondered about my place within this tapestry. Did I have the courage to translate their pain into new narratives? Could I honor their struggles while forging my own path? As twilight deepened, she paused before a gnarled tree, its roots sprawling like veins, grounding the history that surrounded us. This tree stands as a metaphor for your journey. It thrives in the intermingling of light and shadow, nourished by both the sun and the rain. What does this tree teach you about your path? I pondered her question and felt a rush of understanding. It shows me that growth stems from both struggles and joys. I must protect and nurture the roots of my heritage while allowing my branches to reach for new horizons. The woman clasped my shoulder, her energy palpable. Remember, child, the journey of the soul is not linear. Each divergence brings new revelations, but it begins with acceptance. Embrace uncertainty as a companion on your voyage. Her words wrapped around me like an embrace, filling me with possibility. Just then, a flurry of leaves scattered in the night air, and with it came a faint sound, an insistent whisper tugging at the fringes of my consciousness. Seek beyond what you know, the echoes seemed to say. For there lies the essence of your truth. As we continued along the path, I reflected on her teachings, the intertwining of shadow and light, the dance of acceptance and courage. Would I possess the grace to balance both in my life? With nightfall wrapping around us, I felt a deepened anticipation, as if the mysteries ahead were not meant to be solved but rather experienced. What lessons awaited? What cosmic alignments might reveal themselves as I continued my exploration of the shadows within my lineage? The forest sang a different hymn now, whispering secrets to the stars above, inspiring me to delve deeper and embrace the unknown. What hidden truths still lay beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered? I walked forward, aware that this journey had only just begun, ready to listen to the new whispers of wisdom that awaited on the horizon. The path wove onward, tinged in moonlight that shimmered like silver-threaded veils. With each step, the air grew thicker, charged with an energy that pulsed between the knotted branches above. The old woman walked beside me, her form appearing as part of the very landscape, entwined in its rhythms. Why does the darkness call to me? I ventured, daring to voice the question that had whispered within me since our meeting. What hidden truths lie in the shadows? A smile played upon her lips, barely visible beneath the brightness of the moon. The darkness is not merely a void but a reservoir of potential. It holds the fragments of forgotten dreams, the essence of lost voices. Do you fear it, or do you wish to embrace it? I hesitated, feeling the weight of my own integrity as I sought honest reflection. I fear that confronting it may unearth pain I'm not ready to bear. Yet, I feel a pull, a connection to something great, yet intangible. The heart knows what it needs, whether it be sorrow or joy, she replied, her voice now barely above a whisper. It is through willingness that you will discover your true strength. The stories untold can serve as guides, illuminating a path even in the darkest of nights. As we continued, a flicker of movement caught my eye, a luminous creature darting between the shadows. It flickered like a flame, casting an ethereal light that drew closer. It was a firefly, its glow pulsating in harmony with the rhythm of the forest. Observe the firefly, she instructed, prompting me to slow my step. Even in the darkest places, it finds its brilliance. Like it, your light can shine in the depths of uncertainty. You are not merely a witness, you are a participant in this dance of existence. Emboldened by her words, I began to reach for my own essence, the flicker of clarity igniting within me. But how do I connect with the stories? How do I call upon my ancestors to guide this journey? The old woman beckoned me toward a clearing, where the trees parted to reveal a stone circle, worn yet sturdy, lined with earthy offerings. Here lies a sacred space, a portal to the stories of your lineage, she said, gesturing to the stones like sentinels surrounding us. In this circle, you shall summon the energy of those who walked before you. With a reverence that reverberated within me, I stepped into the circle. The air shifted, thickening with expectation as I closed my eyes and inhaled deeply. The pulse of the forest slowed, and I felt the vibrations of the earth. With each breath, I called upon my ancestors, feeling their presence weave through the layers of time. In the stillness, visions began to unfurl, faces, laughter, tears, and silent understandings. A tapestry of emotions laid bare before me. Each vision sparked a flicker of recognition, stories etched in the marrow of my being. Suddenly, a rush of wind swept through the circle, carrying with it the echoing laughter of a child, me ancestors as they had once been, alive, vibrant, and with much to share. Their whispers curled around me, fading in and out like breezes. Remember our struggles, dear one. Let them guide your spirit's onward flight. Just then, the moon shifted, casting a soft glow upon a stone that caught my eye. It radiated an unusual energy that made my heart race. What is this stone? I wondered aloud, kneeling to touch its surface. It was cool yet pulsing, thrumming like a heartbeat beneath my fingertips. That stone is a key, the woman replied, her voice melding with the wind. Each generation holds wisdom that serves as a stepping stone for the next. You must decide whether to unlock its mystery. That I lifted my gaze to the night sky, where constellations unfurled like interconnected stories above me. Who were the spirits I'd have to face to unveil these truths? What had the cosmos woven into my destiny that was yet to reveal itself? With renewed resolve, I visualized tracing the strands back to touch the root of my essence intertwined with my ancestors, to bear witness to both their shadows and their light. How could I honor them while embracing my own narrative? As the night deepened, I contemplated the weight of my discoveries and the weightless potential yet untouched. The path threaded ahead seemed daunting, filled with unanswered questions, but now illuminated by the knowledge that every step I took rippled beyond mere existence into legacy and connection. What spirits awaited my invitation? What mysteries would be unearthed as I sought to unlock not just the stone, but the hidden truths of my soul? I felt the call not to fear the darkness before me, but to embrace it as the catalyst for transformation on this journey that was far from complete. The stone pulsed beneath my fingertips, its mystery beckoning me to delve deeper as I steadied my breath. The energy it radiated wrapped around me like a cloak, protective yet invigorating. The old woman stood at a distance, her silhouette merging with the shadows, observing with an intensity that was both supportive and expectant. It was a moment steeped in potential, a nexus between the known and the unknown. What must I do? I asked, my voice barely a whisper, cradled by the embrace of the ancient trees. You must listen, dear one, she replied cryptically. The stone speaks not just through its essence but through the stories that dance in your heart. It is time to look inward and unearth the wisdom that lies buried within you. Waiting for a voice. That I closed my eyes again, focusing on the rush of energy coursing through the stone and into my hand. I envisioned a pathway unfurling before me, a labyrinth of memories connecting me to my ancestors. With earnest intention, I called upon their spirits once more, inviting their whispers to guide me through the depths of my own soul. Images flashed before me, stirring like leaves caught in an autumn breeze. A young woman, fierce and determined, standing against a backdrop of turmoil. A man of gentle grace, extending kindness to those in need amid a world bustling with indifference. Each figure held a piece of my essence, their joys and regrets layered like intricate brushstrokes on an ancient canvas. As these spirits revealed fragments of their truths, a child's laughter pierced the haze, entwining with the somber memories. Do not lose heart, it seemed to sing. In every sorrow, there is joy to be found. Look closer, the light shines through. Intrigued, I leaned into this shift, searching for illumination even as shadows loomed. As the patterns of my lineage danced around me, I began to see that what I had feared difficulty, darkness had also shaped resilience and strength. But alongside them, I felt an alarming realization settle like a stone in my stomach. Some spirits bore burdens that, if I were not careful, I could unwittingly inherit. The old woman watched me closely, her presence a gilded thread woven through my reflection. To walk your path, you must discern which spirits hold lessons of wisdom and which may lead you astray. Some offer guidance, others may anchor you to fear. How do I know the difference? I implored, a mix of anticipation and trepidation surfacing within me. Listen closely to the echoes, she said, her voice echoing against the stones. Those calling with love and understanding will vibrate with warmth, while those tangled in grievances will resonate with heaviness. It is the light that calls you forth and the shadows that may drag you back. With clarity dawning upon me, I began to sift through the emotions stirred by my ancestors. Their stories, while rich and textured, held a spectrum of experience, the elation of triumph, yes, but also sorrow's heavy song. Would I try to shoulder their burdens? Or could I transform them, weaving their lessons into my own narrative? The moon hung high, and I could feel the vibrant pulse of each stone around me, its heartbeat syncing with my own. I wondered what truths awaited behind their veils, both within and beyond the earthly realm. Just as I was lost in thought, a subtle breeze shifted, inviting me to open my eyes and gaze upon the night sky once more. The constellations shimmered like scattered diamonds, each twinkling star a testament to connections unbroken by time. Shall I forge my own path within this vast interconnected tapestry? I mused. Or must I first traverse the contours of my lineage, confronting the spirits that dance in both light and shadow? In that moment, I felt a weight lift, a mere acknowledgement of the inquiry enough to transcend the burden of fear. The journey was no longer a solitary voyage, it was a communion with echoes, both resonant and discordant, inviting me to draw from their wisdom. Yet, the question lingered, as I tread this delicate line between honoring the past and asserting my own identity: what unwritten truths lay waiting to be uncovered? What dormant whispers of guidance and caution still hid in the depths, ready to define my next step in this sacred awakening? The moon dipped closer to the horizon, casting long shadows atop the carpet of leaves that crunched softly underfoot. I felt a tension within the air, a palpable reminder that I was but a thread in the intricate web of existence. The weight of my thoughts hung heavily, echoing the plight of those who had come before me, their wisdom both a boon and a burden. As I ventured deeper into the forest, drawn by an unseen force, the old woman's voice lingered like the scent of a distant fire. The path beneath me twisted and turned from the familiar into the unknown, the trees thickening around me, their ancient limbs arching like protectors. And then, like the unfurling petals of a flower, a clearing opened before me, illuminated by the soft glow of bioluminescent fungi that pulsed with life. At the center of the glade stood an altar of stones, encircled by a ring of wildflowers that swayed gently, inviting yet solemn. In that sacred space, I heard whispers rising from the earth, a cacophony of voices layered upon one another, each vying for my attention. I stepped forward, my heartbeat steadying as I approached the altar, each footfall resonating with an echo of history. Who speaks? I murmured, sensing the weight of presence surrounding me. A few moments passed, the air thickening with anticipation. Then, a vision unfurled before my mind's eye, vivid and compelling. A figure cloaked in darkness emerged, ethereal yet formidable. There was an energy that radiated from them, a blend of sorrow and a potent allure. This spirit moved gracefully, but with an air of melancholy, and I recognized the spark of creativity that thrummed beneath its surface. It called to me, stirring feelings of my own artistic impulses long buried and unseen. I am the artist, the dreamer, it said, voice like wisps of smoke. But heed me, do not drown in the depths of your emotions. I can teach you, but I may also entrust you with a weight that is not your own. Curiosity sharpened my mind, but I hesitated, listening as whispers rushed forth from the other spirits encircling the altar. A fierce brilliance burst into my vision, represented by a woman with a crown of flames. I am the warrior, she proclaimed. Boldness and passion fuel your path, harness them to rise and stand fiercely against the world. But carve your way wisely, for recklessness may lead to isolation. The cacophony swirled around me, faces and forms shifting with every shift of light, and I was caught between the pressing voices of guidance and the veiled dangers lurking in their depths. Each spirit bore a unique truth, a lesson guiding me toward understanding, but also a caution. I felt the struggle of presensing, a dynamic tension between their calls for love and their warnings to be vigilant against the shadows they cast. My breath caught as another figure materialized, an elder with soft eyes that reflected deep wisdom. I am the sage, they murmured, their voice gentle yet strong. To navigate through the chaos, you must cultivate discernment. Not every voice speaks with the intention of leading you to light. Know that those claiming your heart are not always seeking your best. That I stood rooted, wrestling with the enormity of their messages. With each encounter, I saw the threads of my lineage and creativity interwoven, yet distinct. As their stories mingled in the air, I grasped the true beauty of being connected to such a rich tapestry. There lay potential for me to channel their energies, but also the necessity to claim my own essence, to create without mimicking, to fight without provoking division, and to learn without losing the core of my being. I am the stillness. I recalled the old woman's words, burdening me with the realization that wisdom often hides beneath layers of fear. To listen is to understand, I whispered as the realization blossomed. I needed to foster genuine connection, acknowledging the light without overlooking the shadows. As the spirits momentarily fell silent, I shifted my gaze skyward, allowing the constellations to guide my thoughts. What does it truly mean to emerge from the shadows? Can I transcend the legacy of struggle to create a legacy of peace? In the glow of the bioluminescent offerings around me, a question crystallized in my mind, a powerful inquiry that echoed against the stillness. How can I honor the voices of those who came before me while keeping my own desires alive and untainted? Amid this age-old dance of legacy and innovation, what new truths could I unearth to illuminate the path hidden before me? The night deepened, wrapping the clearing in an embrace of quietude, but there was a restlessness flaring in my chaste and unquenched thirst for understanding. I could still hear the echoes of those who had spoken. Their words rippled in the air like the layers of a gemstone, each revealing more facets under the shimmering light of the fungi. As I lingered in the clearing, those once resonating voices faded, and a new presence took hold. It was as if the night itself had shifted, and the tranquility was pierced by an unseen force of pressure that drew my attention to a rustle in the underbrush just beyond the wildflower border. I turned slowly, and from the shadows stepped a figure cloaked not in darkness, as the others, but in a robe woven from strands of moonlight. "Seek the depth," the figure whispered, their voice harmonious with the rustling leaves, "for light cannot be found without the shadows." As they spoke, I felt a gentle tug on my spirit, urging me to unearth the fabled depths within myself. The soft glow from the fungi wrapped around this new entity, illuminating their features and ageless face, wise and knowing, yet holding an innocent grace. "I am the keeper," they continued, "and I dwell between the known and the hidden. Here lies the gateway to your unconscious, the repository of all truths that lay waiting to be unveiled." The keeper extended a hand toward the darkness that gathered just outside the clearing. It felt inviting, yet ominous at the same time. A precipice of possibilities now laid before me. "Dive into the uncertainties," they urged, the lilt of their voice resonating within the chambers of my heart. "Within the secret chambers of your soul lies the very essence of creation and destruction. Fear not the path that leads to confrontation with your own shadows, for therein lies true freedom." My heart raced as I considered the weight of their counsel. The Spirit's earlier messages hung in my mind, creating a tapestry of conflicting emotions between trust and doubt, wisdom and ignorance. What darkness lay tangled beneath my surface? In the caverns of my soul, were there hidden aspirations too risky to explore, concealed beneath layers of conditioning and fear? As if reading my thoughts, the keeper's gaze softened. "The journey inward may be daunting, but it is also where you will discover authenticity." With each word, I felt urges tugging at my Korean impulse to confront the very vulnerabilities that had shaped me, to honor them instead of banishing them. Overcome, I took a moment, my breath deepening as grounding energy flowed through me. The keeper's presence pulsed with subtle warmth, as though inviting me to step forward into an unknown realm. I hesitated, sensing a veil between two worlds, one of familiarity and comfort, the other laced with poignant uncertainty and integrity. "Will you unlock the hidden truths that bind you?" whispered the keeper, their voice a gentle bell tolling through the confusion. "Trust that you need not navigate this journey alone. The voices you fear may also serve to guide you." The words enveloped me in a cocoon of clarity. Perhaps the spirits I had encountered were not inherently burdensome, their specters could work in unison to illuminate paths I had yet to traverse. In a heartbeat, I understood that the keeper was offering me a choice, a leap of faith into the thicket of my inner landscape. What awaited beyond was unknown, but to see the hidden was to truly embrace the kaleidoscope of my being. I took a step toward the shadows, feeling the ethereal pull of the keeper urging me forward, knowing I could peel open the layers of anxiety that enveloped my essence. But doubts assailed me like fleeting wraiths, question after question flooding my mind. Would I be strong enough to face the pain that lingered? What revelations awaited, and how would they transform me? Suddenly, all felt suspended, the night air thick with possibilities. Would I find clarity or chaos? Was the rush of freedom in acknowledging buried fears worth the awakening of my own shadows? The path to understanding is fraught with mystery, but in the mystery lies the heart of the journey. The keeper spoke softly, their words ringing truth deep within me. With each breath, I stood still in contemplation, staring into the unknown before me, wondering what revelations were trapped within the silence of my inner self. How do I embrace this unfolding as I coexist with the light and the darkness? What will I become when I choose to unlock the truths that lie hidden within my soul? Underneath the soft whisper of the evening breeze, I took a deep breath and steadied myself, preparing to step into the abyss of my own being. The keeper's gaze bore into the depths of my uncertainty, their luminous presence steadying my resolve. As I moved closer to the shadows, an intoxicating mix of fear and excitement coursed through me. It was as if I held a delicate glass orb in my hands, fragile yet brimming with untold potential. As I crossed the threshold into the darkness, a subtle shift began to occur. The air thickened, processes hidden well beyond the veil started to unfold. I sensed layers of memories, flows of consciousness weaving around me like threads of a grand tapestry. In the far reaches of my mind, flickers of light danced, illuminating hidden places where long-forgotten desires lay dormant. Follow the whispers of your soul, the keeper encouraged. The atmosphere felt alive, pulsating as if each heartbeat resonated from somewhere deep within the earth. Curiosity gnawed at my being. What were these whispers trying to say? The shadows morphed unexpectedly, forming shapes that I struggled to decipher. A fragment of my childhood flashed before my eyes, an image of myself, a small child with dreams as expansive as the universe. Chasing fireflies under the vastness of the night sky, I was enraptured by the dance of light against the backdrop of eternity. This felt like an invitation back to that innocence, a reminder of the pure joy and fearlessness that had once marked my existence. But then the scene shifted. The fireflies dimmed, and I could see the contours of other memories creeping into view, moments of rejection, of failure, and fear. They clawed at my heart like forgotten echoes. Each memory was a shadow painted onto the canvas of my being, whispering tales of doubt and longing. Your past holds great wisdom, the keeper intoned softly, but it does not define you. I closed my eyes, trying to tune into the significance of this message while fighting against the pang of sorrow that arose with each haunting recollection. Ah, but there it was, a glimmer of brightness amidst the heavy weight of those shadows, a flicker of strength woven through my experiences. The realization descended like a gentle rain. Every wounded moment had been a stepping stone leading me here, a necessary part of my journey towards authenticity. What must I learn? I asked, as if the silence itself could offer me an answer. Embrace not only your triumphs but the tales of your suffering, the keeper advised, their moonlit robe shimmering softly. Hidden in these narratives are lessons about love, resilience, and ultimately, your capacity to heal. Your spirit longs to grow, allow it. Drifting between introspection and revelation, I sensed warm energies rising from the earth, pooling around my feet like molten gold. The darkness began to pull back, revealing a hidden path paved with stones shining like stars. I felt the keeper guiding me gently onward, urging me to tread that luminous road. Along the way, I encountered the shadows of doubt personified as elusive figures, each one bearing familiar faces of self-expectation and societal judgment. They loomed larger than life, testing my resolve. Questions stirred once more. Could I dismantle the chains they had wrapped around my spirit? Yet a part of me understood that these figures did not exist to drown me in despair. They had come bearing gifts of self-discovery. Welcome, shadows, I whispered as I recognized them, a soft acceptance igniting within my heart. Teach me your lessons, and I will carry your light with me. With every acknowledgement, the figures weakened, their outlines fading like mist under the sun, revealing the pure essence of who I truly was beneath their weight. Through this potent communion, I unlocked doorways to my past that I had longed to fleet, a reservoir of emotions that, though once heavy burdens, became foundations of insight and creativity. As I traversed this unveiling, I felt the energy in the air shift once awe, and it swelled with purpose, as if inviting me to gaze toward the stars above, where aspirations hung just out of grasp. Each celestial body represented fragments of my soul yet to be realized. Seek also the wisdom beyond the anecdote. The keeper's voice echoed through the stars' vastness, as if they knew I longed for more. What lies beyond is not merely your experiences but the connections that weave all existence into one tapestry. Call on the collectivity, a universe of souls yearning to dream alongside you. I paused, gazing into the heavens and wondering how to translate this newfound truth into action. What role would I play in the grand design of connection and unity? Would my journey reshape not just my path but also those I encountered along the way? As I closed my eyes, embracing the expansive thought, possibilities surged like waves crashing onto an uncharted shore. A quiet affirmation boiled within me, a desire that transcended the self, interweaving with all existence. In reaching for the stars, had I begun to unlock the universal truths veiled within me. In this state of awe, a tantalizing question lingered in my spirit: how could the essence of my own story intertwine with those of others, creating a collective awakening that shaped our understanding of being? The night nursed these questions on its fingertips as I prepared to embrace the next step of my unfolding journey. Emerging from the depths of my soul exploration, I began to awaken to a profound truth, a realization that shifted the very fabric of my being. As I traversed that labyrinth of memories, facing the shadows that once terrified me, the weight of what I had carried became lighter. With every acceptance and every whispered acknowledgement, I became more than just a descendant of the past. I became a vessel for healing and transformation, not only for myself but also for those entwined in my lineage. The Keeper, standing by my side, gazed deep into the essence of who I was becoming. "You have delved deeper than many dare to venture," they spoke, their voice a soothing balm amidst the fervor of my revelations. "Now you must understand that true awakening is not tethered solely to personal truths, but to the collective consciousness, a weaving of souls with shared dreams and experiences." Recognizing the weight of those words, I pondered what it meant to awaken not just as an individual but as a part of a greater tapestry. I envisioned myself as a single thread, shimmering and distinct, yet inextricably linked to countless others, forming a quilt of stories and struggles, triumphs and connections. Each spirit, each ancestor who had walked this earth, had contributed to this intricate designa chorus of life echoing through time. As the night enveloped me in its soothing embrace, I felt a beckoning call from the stars, a cosmic reminder that I was not alone in my journey. The spirits of my kin no longer stood in the shadows, hidden from me. They now glimmered brightly, encouraging me to honor their stories by living authentically and courageously. "Every step you take toward your truth ripples into the universe," the Keeper conveyed, their presence both grounding and expansive. "You now hold the keys to unlock potential not only within you but also in the hearts of those who feel lost in their own shadows." A profound warmth radiated through me, solidifying my purpose. I had not only been confronted with my fears and burdens, I had been invited to become a beacon of hope for those struggling to find their way through their darkness. Insight blossomed within me, a realization that the journey was never merely about personal growth but also about the interconnectedness of all souls striving for awakening. I could carry the light forward, shining brightly in the face of uncertainty, showing others that they too could emerge from their shadows. It became clear now, the culmination of each confrontation I had faced with the spirits, the burdens, the pain, the laughter and joy could guide me toward a transformative purpose. My heart swelled with newfound strength. "I will honor my ancestors," I proclaimed aloud, summoning the courage that surged within me. "I will create pathways of light for others who stumble in their darkness, weaving their stories into the fabric of my own." With every word spoken, I felt the energies around me shift, resonating with a profound understanding. The spirits, the Keeper, the vast cosmos, they all stirred in harmony, affirming the importance of collective healing and growth. I chose to embrace the role of a guide, an emissary of wisdom, inviting willing souls to join me on this sacred journey of awakening. As dawn broke, the first rays of sunlight seeped through the branches, casting a golden hue upon the land. The world felt alive, vibrant with possibilities. I stepped forward, ready to usher in my awakening, ready to illuminate the way for others, acknowledging that we are intertwined through the essence of our shared experiences. Silhouetted against the shimmering horizon, I understood the enormity of what lay ahead, a continuous journey of self-discovery, connection, and healing. In the quietude that followed, I offered a prayer to the spirits of my ancestors, thanking them for their guidance and love, and to the Keeper for their gentle nudging towards self-acceptance. I could feel their energy woven into my very being, a reminder that I was both anchor and vessel. As I moved toward the future, my steps were guided by a singular, powerful truth: awakening is a sacred journey, one that embraces both light and shadow, honoring our past while paving the way for a brighter tomorrow. And in that moment of clarity, the sun rising higher and illuminating my path, the final whisper echoed through my heart: to awaken is to embrace all that we are the summation of countless stories, and in our acceptance, we become the light guiding others home.